Hey Bookworms, welcome back to the channel and welcome if you're new. I'm Sam and in today's video we're going to be doing my top 10 books of 2022. Also, guys, happy Christmas Eve. It is Christmas Day tomorrow. I'm super excited. Hope you guys are excited too. It is almost the end of 2022, which means it was time to do my top 10 books. And surprisingly, it wasn't really that difficult until I got to my top 5 and I had to then decide what was going to be in first place. Then things got a little bit difficult because the top 3 books are books that I absolutely adored and I've been going back and forth on which one should have been first place. But I think I finally got to a place where I'm happy with what I've put. So yeah, we're going to jump straight into it with the first book on this list in 10th place, and that one is It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover. This is actually the sequel to It Ends With Us, and everybody probably knows what this book is about. If you've read It Ends With Us, you probably already read this one, and I really enjoyed this one. So in this book we're following on from where the last book left off, like literally straight on from it, and we're following Lily again and we get her point of view, but we also get the point of view of Atlas as well, and I really enjoyed that because Atlas is such a great character and it's really nice to learn more about him with this book and have his side of the story. So I don't want to obviously go into this too much and ruin it just in case you haven't read it yet, but if you did enjoy the book It Ends With Us, then this is such a great conclusion to that one. And in 9th place we have The Nature of Witches. I'm not a massive fan of witchy books because I just feel like sometimes they do the same thing and it's all repeated. I went into this one with not really high expectations and ended up absolutely loving it. In this book we follow these characters, like these witches whose powers are like high in each season. So you got witches that are magic are strong in winter because they're winter witches, and you've got summer and so on. So like when it's not their season, their magic sort of like depleted. But then our main character, I forget what she's called, Lara, her magic's supposed to be powerful in all seasons, so she's like a special kind of witch, but she's, you know, not very good at using her magic. So a lot of things get done. Some of the things that get done to like get her to use her magic are kind of mean. There's like a lot of twists in this book as well, but also there's like a romance, and yeah, it's just really good. Like from the get-go this book just gets straight into it. There's no like messing around, and I really like that about this book, and I really actually like the ending too. Rachel Griffin seems to like write about witches because her other books about witches too. If you guys like books about witches, then definitely check out this one if you haven't already. In 8th place we have Belladonna. I really like this book, but I have seen some people saying that they really hate it, and I'm like, well, you know what? I like it. This book's sort of like historic fiction, murder, mystery, romance, because we follow this character who can't die, and death sort of like has a thing with her. Like there might not be a relationship, there might be, but our main character can see ghosts, and she's also trying to solve a murder and stop a murder from happening, and it's also set in the Victorian times. So you have like so much going on in this book that I just absolutely fell in love with it. But for me, it was the uniqueness of the relationship between our main character and Death that I loved so much, and there's actually a sequel coming out in 2023 and I cannot wait. If you like sort of murder, mystery, strange relationships with death and historic fiction, then I definitely recommend this book because it's so good. In 7th place, I knew this book had to be on this list from the moment I read it. I was like, it's got to be in my top 10. And this is a book by the one and only Taylor Jenkins Reid. I'm going to apologise now, guys, if I sound a little bit sick because I've been really ill for the last couple of weeks. So I'm kind of better, but I'm still like slightly sick. So yeah, my voice sounds a little bit weird, that's why. Anyway, Taylor Jenkins Reid, One True Love. Oh my god, when I heard the synopsis of this book, I was like, I need to read that. That sounds like it's going to make me cry, because we're kind of weird like that. We want to read books that make us cry sometimes. I mean, I know you guys do too, so it's not just me. In this book, we follow our main character, Emma, and she's dating her high school sweetheart. They're married and they've got this perfect life planned out and it's all perfect, and then one day he has to go away and his helicopter crashes and she's told he has died. And then a few years later, you know, she's now moving on. Of course, you know, she's got to move on and get on with life, and she's with this other guy and they're engaged. But then she gets the phone call that her ex-husband, who's not really her ex because like they're still technically married, but he died, but he didn't. I don't know how that works, but anyway, he's alive. So now the man that she loved, who she thought died, has come back into her life because he's actually alive, but she's also engaged to a man that she loves, and now she's got to work out who she wants to be with. And oh my god, this book was so emotional, and it just got me thinking, like, what would you do in this situation? Because imagine being with someone and you thought you lost them and you loved them so much, but you've moved on because, I mean, you have to, and you're in love with this other man, but the man that you thought died is actually alive. Like, I wouldn't even know what to do in that situation. That would just be heartbreaking for all parts. I mean, you've got the guy who she's with who absolutely loves her, and he's afraid that she's now going to go back to the man that she loved before him. And then you've got the guy who has been clinging to the idea of being reunited with her, but now she's moved on, but also she's stuck in the middle of this and it's just like, oh my god. Taylor Strang reads, I don't know, she just does romance really well, contemporary romance. And if you have not read this book, please read it because it is so good. And in 6th place is a book that I put off for a while because I was really afraid that it wasn't going to live up to the hype of our previous 2 books that I had read. And then I read it recently, like literally I think about a week ago, and that is The Great Alone. This book had to be in 6th place because I was like, once again, Kristen Hanna's done it again because she broke my heart, made me cry like full on. I was sitting there reading this book just crying, and I remember at one point my phone started ringing and I could not answer because I'm having a moment. Like I can't answer the phone, crying and be like, and my mum's like, what's going on? You're like, nobody's gonna get that unless you read books. People are just gonna think you're weird. So Kristen Hanna's Great Alone is absolutely amazing. We follow these 2 characters and like the mum, the daughter, so we're basically from the daughter's point of view, and they have to keep moving around because the dad's kind of like used to fighting the Vietnam War, and he's come back and he's not the same. He's very violent and he's very abusive, and it's a story about these characters who move out to the middle of nowhere and they pretty much are in the Great Alone. It's just them, and the dad's starting to become worse and things are becoming more and more dangerous for the 2, and it's about surviving and family. And there's so much to this book that's just absolutely perfect. I don't really want to say too much because I don't want to ruin it, but it is about family. It is about surviving and I guess seeing the monsters inside your own very walls and learning to be who you are when you've got this dad who's so controlling and so abusive and so dark, and you want to love him, but like you're starting to see the truth of him, because we do follow a character who is about 13 and then it jumps a couple of years later where she's older. This book gets very dark, gets very emotional. The little relationship our main character has with the one person in it was something that I absolutely adored, and it just broke my heart. Kristen Hanna doesn't shy away from writing stuff that is going to break your heart, that is going to absolutely shatter you and you're going to absolutely break down and cry, but I think that's what makes her book so rememberable. Is that a word? Rememberable. It's going to make you remember her books. Oh, yeah, we're going to go with that. Rememberable. I feel like that's a word and I'm just not saying it right.
It's from Harry Potter.
What?
It's from Harry Potter. Rememberable. You have a long bottom.
I'm not saying that. Oh my god. You just told me like what I'm saying from Harry Potter. I'm saying remember. Forget it. Anyway, you're not going to forget this if you read it because it will absolutely break your heart. So now we are into my top 5. These are the books that like, oh my god. Girl, I am not going to forget anytime soon. I don't feel like I'm going to forget any of these, but these are my top 5. Are you ready to see what's in 5th place? Because, oh my god, that is God and Monsters, the 3rd book in the Serpent and Dove series, which, by the way, I love that series. I actually have a review series, like non-spoilery. I think there could be some spoilers, but I do give a warning. You should check that out. This is the 3rd and final book in the series, and wow. Wow, talk about the perfect finale and a wrap up for the series. This book just has stuff going on and on and on, and I was really worried that it was going to drag. If my book got dust on it, oh my god, it has. That's not okay. No, it picks straight up from where the last one left off. There is so much that's happening, so many shocks and twists that I did not see coming. There's, oh my god, I can't even like talk about stuff because I don't want to ruin it, but we get the finale battle, and I did not expect that battle to be like emotional, but also if you've read the sequel, then you'll know that a certain character dies. He is not forgotten. He's in this book in a massive way that literally made me weep, because I was like, this character is just such a big part of the series. Like, he just has a place on everyone's heart. I feel like everyone who's read this absolutely adores this character. I don't think people are really happy that the character was killed off. But I want to say, actually, something for me that I don't normally love with books is the epilogues. I feel like sometimes it ruins it. I don't feel like they're that great. It's just like extra information. It's like, okay, cool. But the epilogue in this book was the most emotional epilogue, the perfect conclusion to wrap it up. And I'm so sad that I finished it. But the author is bringing out like a new series and it follows the same world, just different characters. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm gonna miss Lou and Reed so much. It's just such a good series. Now we're into my top 4. So in 4th place is, in my opinion, the author's best book, and that is Beth O'Leary's The No-Show. I actually did a reading vlog for this, so if you want to check it out, I will link that one below. This book is honestly so good. We follow 3 different female characters that are all on Valentine's Day meeting up with this guy who doesn't turn up. And throughout the book, we sort of follow them and their lives and what the relationship they have with this guy. And you kind of really start to dislike the guy. Halfway through the book, you start to understand what's going on. Things start to get explained, secrets start to happen, twists start to happen, but you start to have an understanding of what's going on here, and everything starts to come together perfectly in a way that I don't think I could have guessed. Like, Beverly already sat down and planned out this book so well to make it all link up, so then when it starts coming out, you're all sitting there like, oh my god, because I honestly didn't see any of it coming, and it was just done so well that I was shocked. But also, this book holds a place in my heart because there was a moment in this book that completely shattered me. Like, I didn't see it coming, and when it did come and it happened, I remember just sitting there completely like, what did I just read? I remember speaking about this book after, and I was still emotional, but it also made us understand a certain character a lot more, maybe a character we were hating on, and I felt awful, but I was like, how does she do this? Because this is just pure talent. This book is honestly talent, and I cannot wait to read anything else by her. I know she's got a new book coming out next year, and I'm going to be getting it because I actually did not like the flat share the way it was written. I thought it was really bad. Like, it was the male character. It angered me the way the book was written, but I have read The Road Trip and I loved it, and I loved this one so much.
So now on to top 3!
So this book I'm about to say that's in third place is probably a book that everybody who likes Colleen Hoover has read. It's probably one of her most popular books, and I wasn't going to read this book. I was like, no, I don't want to. Like, just because everybody loves it doesn't mean I need to read it, but I got it and I read it, and that was It Ends With Us. And I mean, it's in third place, so clearly I loved it. This book, again, I did not expect this to be about what it was about. I did not expect it to be imprinted on my heart forever. These characters to forever be characters that I will always love. I didn't expect to cry. I didn't expect to feel the way I did. But oh my god, this is so good. I fully get why people love this, because wow, this is just such a masterpiece. Like, is that too far to say it? I don't care, I'm going to say it. This is a masterpiece. Is there flaws? Yeah. I think every single book has some sort of flaw, but is this absolutely incredible? Yes. Will I love these characters forever? Yes. And will I recommend this book? Yeah. I literally started like looking at Spotify playlist for this book and looking at like, oh, what's it called? Aesthetics. Yes, that's it. Aesthetics. I got it. I'm still sick, guys. So yeah, It Ends With Us was like so obvious that it had to be in my top 10, and it just so happened to be in my top 3 because it didn't feel right to put it anywhere else other than third place. I love this book so much. And in second place, this was hard between these two. In second place is a book that I believe people get in for like Fairy Loot, and they say what's a band. I'm like, oh, well that sounds interesting. Why not pick myself up a copy? And well, is in second place, and that is Only a Monster. In this book, we follow this like woman, this character of her family, and they sort of like have this ability where they can time travel. So how they do this is they touch someone's neck and it steals like a little bit of their life, and that's how they time travel, which is a little bit messed up, right? But our main character didn't know that she can do this until she does it accidentally. We get like the magical element of time travel, but we also get time travel, so we get a bit of historic fiction because they travel back to the 80s or the 90s as well, which was so fun. And our character sort of like having a team up with her enemy, and also the person they're running from might be a guy that she likes. So it's like forbidden romance, enemies to lovers, there's action. There's so much that happens in this book that it's just so good. Like, I really enjoyed it. The only thing I didn't love was the fact that the explanation for like what they are, like it's just like the class of monsters. There's no real explanation. But then again, I didn't care because I was like, I still love this book. And the ending, oh my god, the ending was so good. I cannot wait for the sequel. I think the sequel comes out June, which feels like way too long to wait for it. But I can't wait, and I'm hoping that it'll be a 5-star as well because I want that one to be in my top 10 for 2023. But yeah, if you've not picked up Only a Monster, what are you doing? So now that brings us to first place. And like I said, it was really hard with the top 3-4 books to decide which one was going to be first place, but it kind of had to be this one. I read this one I think early in the year, and I knew straight away this book was going to be my probably top 5 just because of how much I loved it. And everyone who's read this book has actually really enjoyed it. I took over a year to get myself a copy of this book. I was waiting for the nicer cover, and then the ugly cover became available. I was like, I don't want it. And I was like, but then what if I don't get it and then I have to wait another year? So I ended up getting it. I think I had it on my shelf for a month. Forced myself to read it, like pick it up and read it. And oh boy, it was so good. And the book that first place is No Exit. Yeah, everybody who's read this book has absolutely, like I said, seems to have loved it. And I understand why. This book is fast paced with action, on the edge of your seat moments. Like the tension just goes from here to like it just builds, like this book builds tension so well that I've never read a book where that tension's been so intense. Like I've never found that, but yet with this, my heart was like, oh my god, can we just take a moment, because I cannot deal with what's going on. Like the characters at Darby, holy hell, like dude, she is like so brave. I don't even know what I would do in that situation. With everything that she goes through, it's like, girl, you are like inspirational, you are incredible, because she is so incredible. So for you guys who don't know and you like thrillers, again, I'm gonna keep saying it, pick it up. Basically you pick up all these books out on this list. But no extras. We follow this character who has to stop off at this rest stop. It's like this big snowstorm, so she has to pull over and there's like no cell service, and she's trying to get cell service. So she goes outside and then she ends up seeing like a little girl locked in a fan in a cage, and she realises that there's like 4 or 5 other people, and one of these people are the kidnapper, so she needs to work out who it is and get this little girl out. But like I said, they're in the middle of nowhere at a rest stop, no one's there to help, it's literally just her and trying to work out what the hell's going on. And oh my god, I was wondering how this was gonna like play out, because it's only in one setting the entire time, and how this was gonna keep me entertained and keep me reading. But it did, because it did it bloody brilliantly. I can't wait to read her new book. I know her other book that came out I think this year did not get very good reviews, so I'm probably gonna skip it, but her new book coming out I'm definitely gonna get. I remember how tense I found that. Wow, how tense I felt reading this, and I kind of want to read it again, but like I said, I haven't got time. But I am gonna make time next year though to read some of these books again. Oh my gosh, what so that is my top 10 books of 2022. I'm so happy with that list though. Like I do have other books I gave 5 stars, but they're just, I don't know, these had to be the top 10. And yeah, let me know if any of these books were on your top 10, or if you read them and enjoyed them, how you felt about them. Let me know in the comments. But I really hope that you did enjoy this video, and I hope that you guys have a brilliant Christmas day tomorrow and get everything you wanted. So until next time, bye.